In this captivating video, let's delve into the intricacies of the process known as de-dollarization and the novel challenges currently confronting the mighty US dollar. Prepare yourself for an enlightening update because China has once again achieved a remarkable milestone in its tireless pursuit to diminish the world's reliance on the dominant greenback. By the way, if you haven't already done so, I wholeheartedly implore you to consider subscribing to my channel on YouTube. Kindly like the video to ensure its wider dissemination. Now, let's connect the dots to our previous discussions on the BRICS. The developments I'm about to unveil are directly tied to those conversations. Since the commencement of the year 2023, China has been actively engaging in non-dollar agreements, diligently bolstering the global stature of the yuan. And guess what? They've been rather successful. China is now trading in yuan with the largest economy in South America, alongside numerous other countries. Fascinatingly, they even purchased natural gas from Saudi Arabia through a French energy company, all using the yuan. Curious to know more? Well, hang on tight. We'll soon delve into currency swaps and their increasing prominence. The utilization of the yuan in central bank reserves has experienced a dramatic surge this year, smashing previous records. It appears that central banks are showing an unprecedented affinity for the yuan. Regardless of the political and geopolitical factors that often cast doubts on the appeal of the Chinese currency, the sheer numbers speak volumes. China's national currency is steadily gaining widespread acceptance and growing stronger by the day. It has emerged as a viable alternative for many countries, although not without its risks. For nations in the global south, continuing to rely on the dollar poses risks just as significant as adopting the yuan. Let's take a moment to demystify currency swaps, shall we? These financial arrangements enable central banks to exchange currencies with one another, while guaranteeing the return of the money at a future date, along with interest, at the same exchange rate. Essentially, it's a method employed when there is a need to increase cash supply within a country's domestic banking system. And guess what currency is increasingly being employed in such transactions? You guessed it, the Chinese renminbi. The turnaround time for these swaps is generally short, reducing the associated risk, making the yuan an attractive option. One of the primary reasons why the renminbi is gaining favorability is China's strategic positioning as a country with burgeoning diplomatic initiatives. This positioning contributes to the momentum building behind the yuan. China has been actively advocating for substantial changes in the Middle East, and recently they achieved a remarkable feat by brokering a deal to restore diplomatic relations between Saudi Arabia and Iran, an event of colossal magnitude. This breakthrough weakens the influence of the US dollar on these pivotal Middle Eastern nations, much to the disadvantage of the United States. Undoubtedly, the immediate beneficiary of this Saudi-Iran deal is none other than Assad, as it solidifies his position with these countries and others. In light of the agreement, the Saudis swiftly announced the restoration of diplomatic ties with the Syrian government, while Assad embarked on visits to the UAE following his earlier trip to Oman. Consequently, Assad re-emerged on the diplomatic scene, defying the ongoing pressure to isolate Syria. Once again, whether we embrace it or not, China played a pivotal role in resolving a regional conflict in the Middle East. According to Bloomberg, the use of the Chinese yuan has recently experienced a momentous surge, with a staggering approximately $16 billion worth of transactions recorded at the end of March. More countries are gravitating towards employing the yuan in their international dealings. Furthermore, China has been actively forging non-dollar agreements with several nations worldwide, including Brazil and Kazakhstan. Brace yourself for a revelation. According to a Reuters report, the yuan has overtaken the dollar as the most utilized currency globally. This is an unprecedented occurrence that deserves our attention. Let's not underestimate the significance of this event, as the yuan has traditionally been undervalued due to the Chinese government's tight control over its currency. Just 13 years ago, in 2010, the yuan's share was virtually negligible, while the dollar dominated at 83%, as reported by Bloomberg. Change may not happen overnight, but a decade is not an extensive time frame either. China has persistently taken strategic steps, from engaging with Saudi Arabia to participating in the BRICS to empower its currency. A remarkable 47% increase in cross-border payments over a mere 13-year span. An impressive outcome, wouldn't you agree? For those of us residing in the United States, whether we embrace it or not, these developments indicate that global de-dollarization is genuinely taking place. This is not fake news or part of someone's propaganda. These are undeniable facts. However, it's worth mentioning that the dollar still maintains a substantial share of global transactions, hovering around 80%. Nevertheless, this share is undoubtedly on a decline, and as long as the dollar continues to be leveraged for political agendas, its prominence will inevitably dwindle. But here's the kicker. The Chinese renminbi isn't the sole force propelling the process of de-dollarization forward. Numerous central banks are now abandoning the traditional format of primarily holding bank reserves in precious metals and the US dollar. In fact, central bank gold reserves recorded an astounding increase of 228 tons during the first quarter of this year, an all-time record. This figure is 38% higher than the previous first quarter record set in 2030. According to the World Gold Council, Singapore, with its close ties to China, topped the list by adding 68 tons of gold to its reserves, followed closely by China with 57 tons. Quite intriguing, isn't it? The European bloc is certainly taking notice of these events we discussed thus far. Ursula von der Leyen is urging the Western world to formulate a more enticing offer for the countries of the global South. Now, I leave it up to you to decide. Is this a sign of panic or just business as usual? And that concludes our video for today. I'm eager to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. Do you believe the yuan poses a genuine threat to the US dollar, or do you think otherwise? Your opinion matters to me, and I'm excited to engage in further discussion on this intriguing topic.
Express your thoughts by leaving a comment in the section below. We appreciate you for sticking with us until the end of this video. Before you leave, please show your support by giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. We look forward to seeing you again for more captivating content in the future.